we talk about whatever we want. So
Yeah. If you want to,
mm,
we'll try.
oh hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to those two geeks. My name's Alex. His name's Joe. We have been sat here chatting about music for the last 10, 15, 5, I don't know, however long minutes. And we realized that we probably should start recording because otherwise we're just going to roll right into the show and realize we didn't start recording.
Yeah.
And it all came about because we were talking about Avenged Sevenfold's new album, and I'm not the biggest fan. If I'm honest, it just doesn't do it for me. I get that there's some great moments in songs, but overall, it's just it isn't what I was looking for. In the album, it's definitely a progression from where they had last, or some of the other shit that they've done. Um,
So,
isn't my thing, but I tend to prefer. Hail to the King is one of the last albums they did that I really enjoyed. So I'm definitely an earlier Avenged fan.
yeah.
I know Joe said you love Nightmare. So
Oh, that
um,
was my favorite.
yeah, and then we ended up talking about Metallica's new album, and
Same
you're
thing. But
yeah, you're I'm definitely more into that than I am the newest Avenged album. Given the fact I've listened to 72 Seasons a couple of times at this point, and I couldn't get through the new Avenged album. That's kind of where I was like, oh, I really am not into this. I ended up putting on the newest Sleep Token record, which is really good.
yeah. So like for me, obviously, I love Metallica.
Mm.
For for rock, it goes Ozzy is king, Metallica's second. Well, no, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, because they're metal, but like Aerosmith is my all-time favorite band ever. Period.
I don't think I knew that. Do you know that?
You didn't know that?
I don't think I did.
No, by far and away my favorite band of all time. I love Aerosmith. Now I don't like every song because just like any band, they have some shitty songs, but for the most part, I enjoy every album. But with Metallica, I have such a preconceived notion of Metallica.
Mm.
I went to the Saint Anger tour back,
Same. Yeah, same.
uh, and I didn't really like that album that much. It was okay, but I was just stoked to see Metallica because they didn't just play Saint Anger. But ever since Saint Anger, I just was like, "Ah." And then Death Magnetic was more of a return to the very original stuff, so I
Yep.
like it better. But this, no. And then if you know what killed me? So I watched, well, I listened to the songs as they came out on the YouTube before the album was released in full. So the way most of the songs were released were through a music video. Dude, try to watch any of the music videos associated with this album. They're garbage and like all over the place, and you're gonna be like, "What the hell am I watching?" So I think that also ruined it.
Mm.
But
Yeah, that's fair. I see. I don't tend to watch videos or listen to tracks until the album as a whole is out,
oh,
and
you
then
don't review the
yeah,
album.
and I don't know what it is. For me, it's because whenever I was a kid, I mean, and this is dating myself, we buy CDs. Um, like I'm not buying a single because there weren't that many singles of metal bands out that I could get access to where I grew up. But also I was like, why would I spend? I think it's like £3 on a single when I can spend £10 on the album as a whole and get the entire chunk. So I rarely ever listen to singles. And growing up, we had there was the Radio One rock show, which was on late at night. The metal show again, also on late at night. But there really wasn't a consistent rock or metal presence on radio. So anything you found is through word of mouth, magazines, that kind of thing.
Now you're
So
talking we're in the UK.
in the UK, yes, yeah. So when I grew up like in the UK, it was like late '90s, early 2000s, um, and there just wasn't a lot. So we'd walk into the record store, and it's like I remember walking at one point. It was a place called Martian Records,
Mhm.
and there was a band playing. I'm like, who is this? And they said, oh, it's. I don't even know what CD it was anymore. They said, oh, it's that one. Then I'm like, oh, great! I just grabbed it. Like, you like them. Like,
So,
well, this song's fantastic, and you've got it on sale for like $6.99. So yeah,
right.
I'm happy to check it out.
So were basically the bands available to you over there, like our bands and
Oh
stuff?
yeah. Because like if the CDs were released, so like things like the slightly larger band. I don't see larger bands, but if they were able to get an album released on like say Roadrunner Records or something like that, the CDs would be released over in the UK as well.
That's interesting.
But a lot of the stuff I was into the bands like Autonomy. They were really good. It was kind of like a very similar to early Limp Bizkit, like
So,
the Hurt Process. A lot of stuff like that. I was really into, really enjoyed. Um, I just had a moment. I thought this is not what we've ever spoken about before.
no, but
I don't care.
either way,
Yeah,
they're
and so like we'd get a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of like UK bands I'd listen to as well. 100 Reasons, Raging Speedhorn,
mhm.
um, I said the Hurt Process, but Hell is for Heroes, that kind of stuff. Like, it's not necessarily. I don't know if it would fall into emo now, or if that's how people would categorize it. But it was more along the lines of like rock tinge metal to me. I enjoyed it. It definitely wasn't as heavy as some of the other stuff I'd listened to, but you get a lot of European bands as well. Opeth.
Right. Have
Um,
you heard of a band called Volbeat?
oh God, yes. Oh
Yes,
yeah.
Christina loves that band.
Yeah.
How?
I know they played in Montreal recently. I think I was gonna go but couldn't make it over. Do you know the singer was originally in a death metal band and then decided to start up Volbeat because it was something he was more interested in playing and has had significantly more success.
So where are they from? Because
They are
when
Danish, I believe. They're from Denmark.
okay, but like, did any of them reside in Canada?
I have no idea.
Because when I was at my cousin's party, like my cousin and his wife, like they're about almost 10 years older than me.
Mm.
They're all metalheads. Like their whole like friend group is like metalheads, Slipknot, like everything Volbeat, like you could think of. I was such a fish out of water because like I stick to basically like my classic metal.
Mm.
I'm more hip hop versed than I am metal. But yeah, they were talking about Volbeat, and his friend was like, "Yeah, so and so owned the bar. Um, he owned a bar while he was doing the band, and he would like shut down during last call sometimes because he would get a call from Vegas and be like, "Okay, I got to go do a show." And I was like, "That is so weird."
That is fantastic, and it's entirely possible. Like I don't I enjoy the music, but I don't keep track of where they are religiously. Um,
Yeah,
but yes, I mean, it's entirely possible. Like I have no idea either
yeah.
way.
So
But yeah,
somewhere in Montreal, I guess. Like I was like, "Oh, that's weird," but it would kind of correlate with Christina being such a big fan because like
mm,
she's a huge metalhead. I just found that out like a year ago, and we were together for about 6, almost 7 years. Like we're not right now, but like I found out she was a diehard metalhead fan. Like we were driving home from Vermont, and we just had like a 6-hour drive, and everything on her Spotify was like crazy metal. I was like, what? She's like, you didn't know? I was like, what? Like I knew she loved Iron Maiden, like obviously,
yeah,
but everything else that came out, Volbeat and all these other bands that like I never heard of, I was like, holy crap! Like, how did you keep this from me for freaking 6 years? Yeah.
yeah,
So anyways, thank you for sticking with us. That was just our kind of wrap up of the conversation.
yeah.
Had this bright idea. We'll see how it plays out to do a lightning round of topics where we are forced to confine to a time limit, which he said is 10 minutes. And we're going to do 4 topics, which would equal a 40-minute plus episode. So we're going to try. I
We're
don't
gonna
know.
and do you know what the ironic thing is so far is that we're actually under 10 minutes recording. Probably after we talked about that music for a bit, so I'm totally putting that in as one of the topics.
That's
We're also going to be talking about in no order, because this is what we do: toys, wrestling, comics, and movies.
exactly.
We don't know if we're going to succeed. We aren't going to cut anything out to make it look like we succeeded. We're going to do our best. So
Now,
what?
for sake of time, we're going to combine comics and movies because it's scarce on both of them. And
That
I
is,
feel
yeah, hey, I mean, the thing is, we said no more than 10 minutes on each one, right? So if we go under, then that's a win for us.
right. Okay. So I'll pick the first topic and then you pick the next topic.
Yeah, go nuts.
All right. So I was going to do toys, but I'm going to throw a swerve. Going to do wrestling.
I was
So,
actually expecting you to do wrestling, if I'm honest.
well, yeah, because there is some relevant news, like
Yeah.
number one being AEW finally, after the worst kept secret in the world, announcing CM Punk's return.
I
At,
so hit I said this to you on Messenger, I think. I was actually disappointed with how they announced that. Because, Tony Khan comes on Dynamite. It's like, hey, so June 17th is going to be, CM Punk's coming back.
yeah,
We know.
yeah.
We're all aware of the fact that CM Punk is coming back at Collision. Like, we know that. I was hoping that you would actually see, even if it was on video, and I was expecting it to be on video, you would see CM Punk making the announcement of, like, Tony Khan standing saying, so big announcement for Collision, and you just see CM Punk walk on saying, I'm back. And then that's it. I would have been so fucking pumped for that. Instead, you get Tony Khan announcing CM Punk, and to me, it screams of it's more treating him like an attraction, which he is. Don't get me wrong, he is, but it's more like it to me. It was almost like saying, "Hey, we're doing it in Chicago on this date, and CM Punk's going to be there." It was almost like a non-announcement because it was the secret was so shit. Does
But
that
it
make
wasn't
sense?
secret. Yeah, oh no, it makes complete sense. But it wasn't just the secret was so shit. It's just the back and forth daily rumor mill of he's going, he's not, he's going, he's not,
Mm.
he's not. Everyone got tired of it, and by now everyone's conditioned that if it's in Chicago, CM Punk, if he's not on the roster, is either returning, coming back. Like every single time he
Mm-hmm.
returns to Chicago, so it's kind of lost its luster. But the reason they did it was because tickets. They
Yeah,
need the tickets because Collision, I guess, wasn't doing very well in the ticket sales. I don't know
didn't
how
know
it's.
that.
Yeah, it wasn't doing what they thought it would. And the other thing is, Punk was volleying to not have his return announced because he wanted it to be at the show. So that was part of his conditions in many of the talks. But it's like
Mm.
everyone knows you're going to be there. It's the worst kept secret. Like you're not going to recapture that first dance rampage a couple years ago. It's just
No,
not
it's
happening.
not going to happen. And the thing is, at this point, it's already established you've been on uh, AEW before. You've had one return in Chicago where you just showed up. No, it's in Cincinnati where he just showed up and then wrestled in Chicago the next episode.
Yeah,
I watched a great It wasn't a documentary so much. It was Drop Mick.
I
It's Drop.
watched that too.
Yeah,
Two days
so
ago.
it's like an hour and a half. It's Drop Mick Murphy, right?
Yep, that's
Yep.
exactly what I never heard of it before.
Yeah, that's his first video.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's his first video. It's an hour and a half, and it basically sums up CM Punk's entire run in AEW. Like, doesn't have any of it doesn't have much wrestling. Like, if you want to watch it just for a story to see kind of what's been going on, he does a great job of just using clips from Dynamite, Rampage,
hmm
media scrums,
The other thing
and
is that I
I don't.
couldn't tell if it was pro CM Punk or a commentary against him because like the
I
way it's
actually,
sounds like it's for him, but I don't really think so when you watch the whole thing.
I actually think it was just this is what's happened. Like, I don't think it's pro or against CM Punk. I think it's just, this is what's happened. I'm showing you, I'm just showing it to you, and, like, make your own mind up from there.
Yeah. No,
And
because
I think that's the best way to do it, is that he doesn't explicitly state, and I'm assuming it's a he because drop Mick.
yeah.
Um, he doesn't state whether he's for or against CM Punk. He just lets the video do the talking for him. And I don't often watch long videos on YouTube. Like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes is usually about where I tend to stay. I was engrossed for an hour and a half watching this because his editing is fantastic. He cuts out a lot of the pauses in the promos, like that you don't need. He doesn't. The crowd reacts, but he doesn't keep all of it in there. He was fading in and out of shit. It was really good editing, and I was really impressed with it.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like I accidentally came across it because I'm in CM Punk mode now. So I went on YouTube, and because you can't stream like all the past AEW dynamites like you can WWE, I was hunting around for clips.
Yeah.
And I was refreshing myself. And you know what? There are some amazing bright spots in his run thus far. Like there are some promos that are absolutely out of this world. Like I was watching that thing and then I watched clips. Like his feud with Moxley was fantastic, even though it was like a fireball and short, but it was so personal. Like the promo he does when he comes out and he's running down everybody, and he's like, Eddie Kingston, you're not even the best Kingston. He's like, people aren't best at anything. And then fucking Moxley's music hits and he's coming through the crowd. Punk goes, oh, well, I know I've got plenty of time before you hit the ring. I'm going to make snow angels. And he's just sitting there.
I know. It's like he's so, like, I love watching his work. He's just fantastic. It sucks that he has had some chaos backstage. I don't know how much of the Eddie Kingston feud was genuine and how much was storyline.
Yeah, that was like I rewatched that. I rewatched like I'd say 70% of the promos because it's fine. Dude, I think some of it was real because Eddie Kingston had a really big axe to grind. And the way Punk treated him in that feud, I was on Eddie Kingston's side. Like, I thought that was way too far. No, Eddie Kingston's gone through and what he's come from on the streets to be where he is. Like, he was fucking mentally messed up.
Yeah, I love watching Eddie Kingston. Like, I think he's absolutely fantastic. And watching him, like, I caught some of the promos within that longer video. And I thought, like, man, I haven't seen Eddie Kingston this impassioned since I've been watching. Like, I kind of came on watching Dynamite regularly. I think it was just, it was right around the time that Punk and MJF were wrapping their feud up. So I that's about when I started to watch it more. I think I watched a couple of pay-per-views before that point, but I didn't really watch the episodes, Dynamite, Rampage, and then so I didn't see any of that feud. So having that kind of recapped in the way it was, I was like, dude, this is kind of intense. Like, this is intense. It definitely blurs the lines. And so then when Adam Page went and had said that I'm defending the locker room for AEW from you, I was like, watching Punk's reaction now, he keeps a very stoic face, and that would have been burning him up. So yeah, like it's interesting. Like I know there's a lot of it is definitely it bleeds over from real life into the storyline. So I'm curious about how that's going to go. I know that they've got the NDA about Brawl Out with the media scrum and the fight afterwards. So I'm also curious about that. I wonder if they're even going to put Punk in front of the media for a while anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But needless to say, it's for 2 weeks before he comes back. Until he comes back officially, until we're actually going to see him. So whether he shows up in one of the next 4 episodes of Dynamite, I doubt, or Rampage, which I also doubt.
He's going to show up at Collision. He's not.
Yeah, I think he'll be at Collision. I don't necessarily think he'll be in the ring at Collision.
Oh, I do. He won't be wrestling, but he'll come.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I should have said I don't think he'll be in trunks in the ring wrestling, but I definitely think he'll be there to
Yeah,
kick some kind of feud off.
he will guaranteed open up Collision.
Hmm.
It will be his music hitting when
Yeah.
Collision's intro goes, and that's how we'll kick it off. But no, you were talking about Eddie Kingston. Like Eddie Kingston was one of those guys that I didn't enjoy him prior to AEW. He just didn't hit for me. But his run in AEW, like I love his style. First of all, I love the way he just barrels to the ring. Like
Yeah.
he takes no time. But I also like his promo style because it's so real. And when he gets like passionate, it's unbelievable.
Hmm.
It definitely got under Punk's skin a couple of times during that feud, like in real life. I don't think they have like I don't think Punk thought they had a real beef, like he said in the promos, but I think Eddie really had an axe to grind, and it was very telling when he said, "Dude, listen, I don't care about winning and losing at Full Gear. I just want to beat you up. I don't care who gets the pinfall because we all know CM Punk got it."
Yeah.
Like that's the only way Punk would have agreed to that kind of a feud. But when he said, "You're not on my level, you're a bum," and then he was like, I was thinking something more like Dark Elevation for you. I was like, oh my God, like I know you're out there kayfabe, but like at the same time, that is, oh my God,
That
brutal.
is rough. Yeah.
Yeah. And like Punk can be that way though. Punk can be a disingenuous asshole.
Hmm.
But I will say this, like I rewatched the Scrum. I rewatched a lot in the past week of AEW like clips. Um he had a lot of legitimate gripes.
Hmm.
He really did. Like the thing with Hangman Adam Page, I watched that clip, not Punk's clip. I watched the interview. And
Yeah. Yeah. I did see the clip that again that was within Drop McMurphy's
yeah,
doc. Yeah.
I didn't find it like horribly disrespectful at all, but I also found it stupid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
Like Punk said,
What I completely agree. Like he said, "Oh, I'm doing all right from where I'm at." Like,
right.
be that as it may, if I was in any career,
Mm-hmm.
like I can see, hey, I'm doing all right in my career right now. But if someone says, hey, if you do A, B, and C, you'll be like 18% more effective. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take that under advisement. Like, will I listen to them? Probably, because they might be more experienced. They might have a bit more knowledge. They might have. I mean, like I remember watching Kenny Omega on Renee Paquette's uh, the sessions,
Yep.
and he said, if I can save someone from going through a tenth of the shit that I went through to get to where I am and propel them further, faster, earlier in their career, well, I've got a responsibility to do that. So that's the kind of advice that I, again, don't know what was shared with Paige, don't know what was said. Maybe it was something that he didn't need to hear. Maybe he really already knew it. Maybe someone else had talked to him about it. Don't know. But I think the way he said what he said definitely it didn't sit well with me in a I don't know if I'd have said that kind of way. Like it wasn't horrifically offensive. He didn't kind of shit on anyone. He just said, I don't know if I would I'd listen, but I don't know if I'd take the advice.
I mean, at the time, he is the world champ. He's,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is the problem with Punk. As much as I love him, he's one of my all-time favorites. He's too sensitive. Like I did not see anything in Page's thing that he didn't mention him by name.
Mm-mm.
I didn't see anything that was like so disrespectful for Punk to be like, "You owe me an apology on live TV." Like I didn't see that bad. What Page did on Dynamite after that all went down was shitty when Punk wasn't there. And then Punk reciprocated the next week when Page wasn't there. And that was fucked up. When he was
Yeah.
like, "I ain't cowboy shit. That's coward shit." Like,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That was. I felt that was a bit below the belt, honestly. Like when you hit that level, like you're like, oh come on, like I get it.
no, the guy's not there. So it's
Exactly. So how is he going to come right? Like, and that's just it. Then you set the fans up for thinking, oh, we're going to get a Hangman
right.
Punk feud and rematch, but you don't. I was thinking that's what you were getting at. That would be pretty cool to see, but
Yeah.
alas.
At the end of the day, this stuff, like Eric Bischoff says, controversy breeds cash. Like if they can find a way to work in the ring, it doesn't have
Hmm.
to be friends, doesn't have to be, amicable, just has to be professional. You can make magic with that stuff. When, like you said, when you blur the lines.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if they're in a place now where they can say, hey, look, this is what I'm going to say. It will blur the lines. Are you okay with me? Like, say if you and I had been, people knew that you and I had been at each other's throats for whatever reason, and we, make amends, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
I realize we failed our 10 minutes already, but it's fine.
Oh,
Um, we make up, they say, hey, I'm going to say this, you reply with this,
mhm.
and then we'll see how it goes. You're right, like controversy sells, and when people don't realize what's real and what isn't, that's when you get people tuning in, watching clips, all of that kind of stuff, and it brings the audience back.
Exactly. Like, dude, if people knew that Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon were best friends behind the scenes, that feud would have went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
In such a way that it was believable that these people didn't like each other. And it
Yeah.
was brilliant. But like I always say, the number one example I'll go to when anyone says, oh, they shouldn't work together, Matt Hardy and fucking Edge. If those two can work together and be professionals the way they did throughout that feud, anybody can do it
Yep.
because nobody had more of a grievance to, kill each other than Matt killing Edge. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were, and it was wonderful. And
Yep.
that's what happens sometimes.
Yep.
But
Agreed.
that's when,
um
no, we'll just cut out a topic
yeah,
because,
we'll cut out.
yeah, that's when AEW is at its best. Like rewatching this, I was like, oh my God, I'm completely reminded why I fell in love with AEW. Because when they're on and the stories are hot, they're amazing. Because the in-ring stuff is automatically freaking 5-star all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's never subpar. So you just need the story.
I,
They've
I I would definitely, I would say that you're definitely going to get more matches that are above par than that are below par.
oh yeah.
Like I'm, you have no idea how happy I am that Chris Statlander is back. I have no idea who the fuck Chris Statlander is, but the reason I'm happy she's back is that it means that she beat Jade Cargill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to watch another Jade, or rather, I don't have to skip past another Jade squash match.
Yep.
Like I'd gotten to the point where Jade would come on. She's fantastic in almost every way, but her matches were just boring. Like,
It's very green.
yeah, like I just
Days.
you like I want to see a match where like I don't know who's going to win this, or if I do know who's going to win it, it's going to be a really entertaining story all the same. MJF, Bryan Danielson, the Four Pillars, like that's the kind of thing that I want to see. Like, and I mean, Jamie Hayter, Tony Storm, when Tony Storm beat Hayter, knew how it was going to end because you knew Hayter's injured, but
Mm-hmm.
it was still done in such a way that Storm protected Hayter. Like clearly they were focusing on a specific area, but it looked like, I don't know. I mean, I don't. It didn't look like they would made any further damage to Hayter's body, and Hayter came out looking like a valiant, I'm not laying down for this shit, and still came out like both of them came out with that match looking really strong, and that's the kind of shit that I want to see, not Jade squashing Sky Blue despite Sky Blue having a like
Yeah.
popular yada yada yada. Like, oh, she's going against Jade. I don't care enough about Jade to see this. I'll watch it because it's Sky Blue. But if it's someone else versus Jade, I'm like, yeah, I don't really care.
So Jade is physically a specimen. She looks the part. She has everything. She's boring as fuck.
Mm,
Her like her character needs work, And so the word is they took the belt off her. She's going to go away for a while and come back with a character overhaul.
Mm.
And she's bland. And like, who gives a shit? Like, I love the major wrestling podcast, but I don't give a shit about Mark Sterling as a manager. Like, it does nothing for me. It does nothing for Jade. Chris Statlander, she was acceptable. She hadn't been beaten. She's a bigger gal. Um, she's a good worker, and she's a fan favorite. So it was the right time. I don't think they had anybody else that believably could have took it off.
Like, unless you're putting Saraya, hey, Tony Storm's got the world. I'm going to go take this from Jade Cargill. Unless you're going to do that,
Yeah.
but like, I
No.
don't think you'd want Jade working with Saraya, because Saraya like still needs to have some. I think she's still somewhat fragile still. So you want someone that knows what they're doing and can protect her.
Right.
Anyway,
Did you watch Dynamite?
yeah. I didn't watch Rampage, but I did watch Dynamite.
Okay, so I love Saraya.
Mm.
I love Britt Baker. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
huge marks for both of them. They work horrible together. It's just obvious. Like, if you watch the the intergender tag match with Cole and Baker versus Jericho and Saraya, the spots with Saraya and Britt are like, it's like snail pace, slow down, just bad. I love Saraya, but I don't know, she needs a lot of seasoning. Like, if there was an NXT for AEW, she needs that bad, or she can be a manager, because she doesn't fucking have it in the ring.
And the thing is, they don't want to put. I don't think they want to put her on Dark or Elevation. They need to put her on the House Rules show and have her
Yeah.
do some stuff there, because that's what you like. Anyone needs practice. Like,
Yeah.
everyone needs to fine tune skills and everything like that. Like,
Yeah, no, absolutely agreed. But like, it's just a shame because
mm-hmm.
when she came back, like, I was so for it, and I still am glad she came back, because kudos to her, not getting to live her dream again. But at the same time, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. You'll have Saraya with the world title eventually. It'll be good. I don't want her anywhere near a women's world title.
The reason I was so happy Tony Storm won is because it meant I wasn't going to see Saraya versus Jamie Hayter for the belt at Wembley.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather see Saraya, a Hayter Storm 3 at Wembley, with the full expectation that Hayter takes the belt.
Yeah, absolutely. But Tony Storm is criminally underutilized. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was a huge mark for her in NXT UK and NXT. So I'm glad she's getting some shine. But like, I was rewatching all the stuff, and like, I love Britt Baker. Britt Baker, like, was the drizzling shits when AEW started. I was there week 2. She was okay. She made herself into one of the best women's wrestlers ever. But wow, she's been bad lately. She's just not clicking at all.
I think it's because she's in a feud with the Outcasts and hasn't really had chance to get in the ring as much.
Yeah, it's not good.
Right, like she almost needs to start going after not Tay Mello, but Anna Jay. Have a JAS Adam Cole feud. I honestly expected the JAS or Jericho Cole feud to be over because of what we've heard about Punk coming back. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen there. Going over in a couple of weeks to see how that goes. But
I think it's over. The way Dynamite ended, it was pretty definitive, because Kirk was going to Collision. So no, it's over. I mean, you got to do a whole reset. Like, the big thing they need to do is find somebody for MJF, like stat. They need to find serious contender. And honestly, I love Adam Cole. I don't think he's it. So I'm
I think whomever takes the belt from MJF, it's not going to be at the next pay-per-view.
No.
Like, I don't know what AEW's equivalent is to WrestleMania, but
it's what's it called? double or nothing is basically.
it. Yeah. So I feel like if he's gonna lose the belt this year, it's gonna be at Wembley.
No,
And yet at the same time, I don't want him to. Like, I think
not,
if anything, he's losing the belt just before, like, or in 2024
yeah.
is what I think is going to happen. Like, he's going to have a longish run, but at this point, it's got to be to the point. You've got to see someone who has been built up to take it, whether it's any one of the people who he's already beaten. Like, I don't think Danielson is in that picture anymore.
No, Moxley, Danielson, the BCC, nobody. Like
No.
honestly, mention the name. The person who I would like to eventually beat him is Eddie Kingston.
Mm.
I
I
think that
see. I was thinking, who was I? I thought I can see Adam Cole going up against him and not, and maybe pushing him for a bit.
yeah,
But yeah, like Eddie Kingston, I think would be brilliant because you could swing a New York angle, have it set in like, or have it set, have the match in MSG or someone like that. Um, Kingston would be fantastic.
the promos would be intense,
Mm-hmm.
overdue. Like I love the BCC. Like I love Danielson. I don't think they need the belt. I think they
No, they don't. At this point, they don't need a belt, right? Because if you have the belt, you almost end up turning like whoever takes it from MJF is going to be a face,
face exactly. And like
unless it's taken from him in like a three-way match where one of the other person's a heel.
right, you don't need Omega. I do not see Ricky Starks being capable. Like
No,
don't see it. Like there's no other big name. I love Mox, but I don't
I
want to see
I
him.
can see Jay White eventually taking it, whether it's from MJF or not. But I think Jay White is going to end up with that belt at some point.
He should. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a huge sign, and they
Mm-hmm.
nothing with him.
It's I don't think they were expecting to get him. And
Well,
then all of a sudden they sign Jay White and like, well, fuck, now what? So we throw him in a quick feud until Double or Nothing, and now almost immediately after Double or Nothing, they're letting him get live in-ring promos against FTR, right?
yeah, but I mean, he's pissed backstage. Like this
Mm.
is he
Yeah.
had a he wanted to be focused more. Like I said, when you told me that, I was glad Orange kept the belt. That's
Mm-hmm.
not, but Jay White getting eliminated in that kind of a thing, I was like, oh my god, like what are they doing with him? You know, like he's a focused player. I mean, if they're
It.
smart, Forbidden Door, they're gonna showcase him huge.
I think they will. They've got to at Forbidden Door because I think you're going to see the next couple of weeks. You're going to see two new members of Bullet Club Gold.
Yeah, who do you think they are? Obviously, New Japan.
I
Has
honestly, I think it's going to be Austin and Colton Gunn, and I think they're going to end up being called the Golden Guns.
Oh my God, please, for the love of God.
I saw that on Reddit and I loved it. Um, I do think you're going to see because they're feuding with FTR right now. If FTR are backing up Ricky Starks, it does kind of blend in that that's what's going to happen. However, I think if there's room for people coming, or if there are people coming from New Japan right now into AEW, like Aussie Open have been signed, I think you're going to see a couple more folks from United Empire show up. Because I know Will Ospreay's contract is coming up
Right,
in
a good one.
in New Japan. I think Will Ospreay, because I reading between the lines in the interview with Ospreay and Renee Paquette, uh, he said his contract's up this year. He's not sure what he's going to do. He said whatever he does, he'd love to be. He basically said he wanted the flexibility, and Renee said, "Hey, I'm just saying, plenty of people in AEW still go to Japan," and you could see him kind of smirk a bit.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I could see him face MJF at Forbidden Door.
yep, and
That would be
I
mine.
think you're going to see him debut at Wembley with someone like I think because he is absolutely fantastic. Like if I would not be surprised if you see Will Ospreay featuring prominently at All In. I think you might get Pac back. Let's say that three times fast. I think you might get Pac back by then as well because he's injured right now, right? Like he's got the couple of
Right.
injuries that he's nursing back up. So I can see him coming back around then, and like Pac versus Osprey, that would be an amazing match. Like I don't even like this is one of those things I don't even care who would win. I just want to see that. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, no, that could be good. But no, Osprey, I'm very familiar with.
Mm.
I've followed him for a while. He's good. So
Hmm.
the way I think you got to remember, Forbidden Door is next,
Yeah.
then Wembley, because Wembley's August. So MJF has a real life disdain for New Japan.
Hmm.
So
And
they can one
I
or two ways. They can either have him not on the card at all, which would be a travesty, or force him to wrestle one of the New Japan darlings, and that
mm,
really, really good exhibition, I think.
and you could have him frame it like I know he doesn't like New Japan, so you could have him frame it as in I'll show you why New Japan isn't any good,
Right.
right?
And the whole you like Tony's forcing me to wrestle. I don't want to, but since I am, I'm going to show you why it's inferior. And
Yeah.
gold. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
All right. Let's jump.
let's segue. Yeah. All right. So toys. Do you know what we went over on that one by 20 minutes, but
Hmm.
we stayed on topic. So there has been a lot of toy news coming out. I have definitely not captured all of it. I did see that Mattel Creations are releasing Vicon, uh,
Vicor.
Vicor, yeah. A looks fantastic. Have no idea who he is, but I kind of want him because I like I like the look of him. And astonishingly enough to me, Mattel Creations actually shipped to Canada, and it's not unreasonable.
Really?
Yeah.
So, or is He-Man from 1981 when Mark, what's his name? Forget his name, but he did all the original Masters
Mm,
of the designs. When he designed He-Man, initially he was basically a Viking, so he was Vicor, and so but people in the board was like, well, it's very much like Conan the Barbarian, which was
hmm.
around 70s, so they're like kind of a rip. And so they said, well, what if we make him space like? So they wanted a Viking space man. So Vicor, the figure, is like a callback to that, but it's 3 in 1. So you got him playing as the basic what He-Man was supposed to be. You get his like space attachments and all that, and then you get a third thing. I forget what the third set is, but he has basically like 3 ways you can display him. I'm gonna actually pass on. He's cool, but like I'm like, you know what? I'm more the Origins Mattel
Yeah.
Creations. Like I mean, I don't think he's bad, but it's like, eh,
Just not
you
your
know.
thing. And I think like as I've last year or so, I've realized that like I don't necessarily think there are many more Marvel Legends that I'm going to be getting anymore, if I'm totally honest. There's a couple that I want, but like my list of characters that I really want now is boiled down to, well, I wouldn't mind a Jim Lee Sabretooth, Craven the Hunter,
Mhm.
like classic Kane or early Kane, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, for the most part, I'm a lot more complete with my collection than I thought I would be at this stage. Like I'll probably pick up any new Wolverine figure just because that's what I'm doing. But yeah, like it's strange to get to that point where I realize I don't think I need any more on the shelf.
It, it really is. And like this is gonna shock you. So they moved up the Spider-Man 3-pack from No Way Home
Mm.
from August to this week. So I saw a couple in-hand reviews. I canceled it.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna say like I was looking at that too. I'm like, yeah,
Oh, I
it,
don't like.
they look cool, but it's not the kind of thing that I need. And I don't know if it's because we spent the pandemic. I mean, you and I really like you didn't realize I was into we were talking a lot of like I don't even know what we talked about before we got into toys over the pandemic. I really don't.
I can't remember honestly. Oh,
Like
comics all the time, pretty
comics,
much.
I think comics and movies mainly, right? Like we would just anyway. Um, I definitely think the pandemic expanded the show's horizons because we got into different shit.
I think so. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Um,
But yeah, no, that
yeah.
only Andrew Garfield is worth keeping out of it. Like, go look at it again, and then if you get
It,
a chance, look at the
I
Toby. They
yeah,
up the
like,
Toby so bad.
it's one of those things where I know they're gonna release them singly,
Right.
and if I'm gonna do anything, like maybe I'll get a single issue, maybe I'll get a single release, like one or two of them, maybe, but I don't need them because the Tom Holland figure with it is just the same one you've seen ad nauseum everywhere. They're gonna re-release
Yeah.
that again at some point. Like I'm totally fine waiting to see what they do if they release him singly. I looking at my collection, like, man, I wonder how many I've got in the basement now that I don't need because there's a ton down there that I can quite happily
Part with.
just part with. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been consistently trimming down my Marvel Legends
Mm.
collection for the past year, and I pretty much do it almost every 2 or 3 weeks. So I went from 270,
Hmm.
and now I'm at like 115, something like
Yeah.
that.
Like it's crazy that I'm at the point now. I'm like, I genuinely don't think I need any more. Like I've got the Union Jack section of figures like Captain Britain, Captain Carter, Spider UK, and Union Jack. Like my various different versions of Spider-Man are up there.
Hmm.
Spider-Man villains. Um, I don't feel the need to have a huge amount of anything else. Like I've got the Reavers are out,
Right.
X-Men
No,
villains, but
and for me, I decided I'm gonna for X-Men, I'm gonna stay with Mafex.
yeah.
That is my quintessential X-Men. I think they do the best representations. My Magneto's on the way. He looks amazing. My Nightwing's on the way. Like, and they don't come out like every 2 or 3
Mm.
weeks and bombard me. So like, yeah, I gotta wait, sometimes a year or 6 months. But when I get them, I get them. And it's like Marvel Legends, I can't keep up. So if I was a Marvel Legends completionist, I'd be screwed because they're
Hmm.
constantly dropping something new. But the issue is what they're dropping isn't like wowing me. When they showed the renders for the 3 pack way back when, I was so stoked. Like it was one of my most look forward to. When I saw the in hand, after they added an extra 6 months of time, I'm like, no, hell no. I'm not
Oh.
paying this. I'm not paying $95 just for an Andrew Garfield because the
Mm.
other two are terrible. And according to Rectangular, they're going to do a No Way Home wave with them individually unmasked.
Yeah. And the thing is, at this point, you can trust Rectangular's leaks are going to be, for the most part, accurate because he hasn't like I think any information he gets at this point that's bad is deliberately fed to him.
Yeah, the only time I can remember that he was wrong was, I believe wholeheartedly, the Marvel Legends team will outweigh to make him wrong when
Yeah.
the Spider Slayer was supposed to be the Bath and they switched it to Armadillo.
Yeah.
Just
Agreed.
to, I think, make him look bad because I think all signs pointed to that going to happen.
Hmm.
But um, the SH Figure Arts, Toby Maguire, yeah, it's $90, but it's virtually perfect.
Yep.
And they come out like 4 months from each other. So I have all three Spider-Men within a year. And I'm cool with that. It did
Hmm.
perfect presentations. But yeah, Marvel, I was really disappointed. Like I canceled a lot of Marvel Legends. I am keeping Hawkeye in the Sky Cycle. He looks great. He looks absolutely phenomenal. Keeping Bruce Banner and the Hulk because I've always wanted a Bruce Banner and I love the Gray Hulk. Um, what else am I keeping? I canceled Thor and Destroyer because I don't like the stiff cape and it still has pins. So I was like,
Yeah.
no. Um, yeah, so basically Hawkeye, and the Hulk 2-pack are my Marvel Legends right
Mm.
now for the year that I'm getting, because those are the ones that like thoroughly impressed me.
Yeah, like
But
there's, and I think that's what it's such a shame. Like, unless they do, like, I would consider getting an X-Force Archangel because
yeah,
he's the only one that I really need for the Uncanny X-Force team. But I have that entire team in storage, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't like. I think for me, my era is definitely the '90s, minus the odd team here and there. But I've got almost everything in storage that doesn't fall in that category. Like, I've got Captain America out, Thor,
hmm
um, the Thing, like the 20th, like, yeah, so it's the 20th Hulk, 20th Cap. They're out and they're on a shelf with Moon Knight, Thing, and Black Panther.
yeah, that's
And
a good one.
the only reason I have Black Panther is because he was on. I found him on sale for a ridiculously cheap price. And I was like, you know what? This is it's the movie Black Panther, the Walmart one. It
Hmm.
worked. I'm happy enough with this. I won't be getting another version of him. He's fine.
Yeah,
And if I don't like him, he's really gummy and cheap. Like, he feels like a knockoff. And I was like, you know, if I don't want him down the road, I'm not even going to worry about selling him. I'm just going to throw him in a donation pile.
like why do you want to pay for that anymore? You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
so GI Joe, when people bitch, they recalibrate and they
Yeah.
give you more. Marvel Legends just seems to dig their heels in the sand and be like, nope, we tell you how it is, and it's affecting them
Mm,
because I see full waves pegging on the stores now, something I've never seen.
yeah.
Like, that's why I haven't rushed to grab Emma Frost, because I've seen like 6 of her every time
Hmm.
I go to Target. You know, then
Yep.
they're just not giving you the quality
No, like
for
I,
price.
I have Spiral. She's fantastic.
Yes,
Um, I
you
think I've
have
lost.
to, because he's coming to you in the box, but you knew that.
Yep.
But so this is what I was originally going to rant about, and we went off on wrestling, which is always dangerous. But so I look at the Marvel drops and the reveals that have been coming lately, and they're extremely lackluster. Like the
Mhm.
Gladiator Hulk reissue. What the fuck is that? First of all, the movie is like 6 years old. Second of all, who wants that? And it still has pins. So
Yeah.
look at that versus what GI Joe dropped on Tuesday with the Trouble Bubble and all that stuff. And I ordered that because they load it with everything. Plus, the Trouble Bubble, which is a really good sized vehicle and a quintessential one, was $54 with the figure.
Hmm.
Total, like, they sold out very, very quick because they're army builders. I grabbed two because they're going to flank my history. But it's
Right.
like, look at what that Hasbro company is giving you versus the other Hasbro company. It's night and day. And then don't even get me started on Star Wars. I'm basically done with Star Wars because it's all repaints, it's all troopers, and it's all high prices with like
Hmm.
an accessory. It's not worth it. Not at all.
No, like I don't mind paying um a bit more, or even like, so I think that's why I went hard on Masters of the Universe for a bit, and even that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy now to wait. I've got the ones that I think I desperately needed. My shelf looks arguably overcrowded. Like, I don't need a huge amount more at the moment. And so I mean, for the most part, I'm just kind of waiting now to see what else there is that's coming out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel the need to rush into getting a huge amount more. Now, I still need a Man at Arms,
Oh yes, that I'm
right?
on for you. I'll get
Oh
it.
no, yeah, no, I know, but like, I don't have any Man at Arms at the moment. I'm
You, the new Man at Arms. The other one is terrible compared to this
oh,
re-release.
and
Must be.
that's what I mean. Like, I've if I can find that one like cheap online, I'll probably grab it so I can eventually use him as a guardsman, because that's what I've done with, or I intended to do with Merman, is use get the newest Merman and then use the original, shirtless one as like a guard or something. just to have it on. But I mean, for the most part, I'm at the point where I don't really need many more now. Lobster or claw, those kind of things. Yeah, maybe, but again, right? Yeah, I'm not. If I can't find it, I'm not upset about it anymore.
That's the thing. And also the cool thing with Masterverse, like they don't resell for high. Like they never
No.
really reason. Yeah, so you're pretty much guaranteed if they're out in stock to get them somewhere, even if it's a tiny bit higher on the secondary market.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like you can justify waiting for a lot of that stuff.
I feel like we can all justify waiting now.
Yeah.
Like Marvel Legends, if I get, the ones I want, besides the ones that like I like come out and I have to have instant, like if pain drop, I'd have to do that right away, no matter what. But like other ones that I casually want, or like I'm like, yeah, I could use them, in my collection. I'll wait till a sale, or I'll wait till they go down on Amazon. I'm not fucking paying prices and hunting them
You don't.
anymore. Not
Yeah,
worth it.
no, exactly. Like you don't need to rush for it anymore, right? Like it's just one of those things where I don't have to be running out to get everything the minute I see it. There's no
Nope.
need. I mean, would it be cool? Absolutely. Do I need it?
Right, exactly. But yeah, so like my last point on toys, we're going into Comic-Con season, which is what, mid-July is usually, or end of July is San Diego.
Yes.
Right. So I'm pissed that these toy companies are starting up early. Like they're not even giving you time. Like NECA. So I set my alerts on Twitter, right? Night, I got woke up at 3 a.m. because Best Buy, who has never sold action figures or turtles, dropped a only Best Buy exclusive Michelangelo the Wanderer from the Mirage comics of way back in the day.
Like, what the hell are Best Buy doing selling stuff?
Yeah, that's like friggin' going to CVS and all of a sudden, or Tim Hortons, and they're like, "Oh, we're selling action figures now." It makes no sense.
I love that you use Tim Hortons as an example.
Something Canadian. I couldn't really think of anything. But friggin',
but no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
They dropped 3 other figures simultaneously at like 3 a.m. at different places. And I'm like, what and these were on nobody's radars because I the toy news every single day. 0 people had an idea these were coming. They're just like, boom, here they are. I was like, what the hell? Like, so if you're me, it gives you turtle anxiety because like I'm like,
you never know where it's going to come from.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't not jump on this because it's not going to last. And if that's the only place, it will skyrocket on the aftermarket. Then you also got the exclusives coming up for San Diego, which they're already circulating because Anthony's Customs had an early review of the Eastman and Laird 4 Turtles, the new pack, which is incredible. So everyone wants that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be SDCC exclusive, but they're also rumoring that the Turtles and the Samurai outfits from the Turtles 3 movie is going to be a 4-pack as an SDCC exclusive at the same time. So it's like, that's like $300 right there, just NECA. And that doesn't even count what they're going to release at Target, Walmart, and all the other. Like, it's too much. Like I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, you can't like Turtles is my jam, but like I can't collect everything. I just can't. It's impossible. There's so much. Like when they drop fierce without warning. So like you don't have the money, you don't know what's going on, and they go fast. So it's frustrating because as somebody who adores that collection, you want it to be the best it can be. But when drops come out of the sky at 3 a.m., it's just ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, like you get woken up. Oh God, right? Like
you're trying to wake up go to the bathroom, and all of a sudden, turtle drop right now, got to get it. And of course, it's one of those things that, it's not like a Hasbro or a BBTS, which is the model I like, that you pay when the item comes in stock, you just
Mm-hmm.
reserve it. No, Best Buy, you got to pay right now. So you got to pay the shipping, everything right now, even though you're not getting it until August. And I'm like, but it's one of those things that once you lock it in, you're like, all right. But then like four more come around the corner and you're going, what the hell? Like, I mean, it's just impossible. I've decided like I'm going to cherry pick everything I collect. I can't. Obviously, turtles is probably my number one focus. I'll slowly build up my gargoyles because they don't seem to be selling out everywhere, and I usually come across them. So I'm just slowly building
Do
that.
it bit by bit, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much out of McFarlane unless they do like a one-off character that I know won't be done anywhere
Mm-hmm.
else. Like Deadman, he's perfect, so I grabbed him. But other than that, like some Marvel Legends, some like they'll have to be like knockouts for me to get them.
Yeah.
And then Joe, GI Joe is like always consistent. So basically that's it. But it's crazy. I can't keep up with it, and I'm finding like now it's kind of like you with the Marvel movie fatigue. I'm starting to actually get toy fatigue, which I
Yeah.
never would happen. I'm
Like
just
I
oh
it's funny, like I started to feel that as well. Like I'd grab something and I'd play with it for a bit, repose and like, and then all of a sudden like I don't have anywhere to display anything anymore. Like everything I have out is what
yeah,
I want out. So anything I knew I get, I've got to put something away.
yeah,
And so I've got like a huge box in the basement. Like I could happily trade all of these in,
yeah.
minus a few of them, and then just
Mhm.
restack that box of things that I want to put away and leave, and kind of leave there and just leave be. I'm like, there is so much that I have now in the basement that I forget that I have that I don't need. All of those things. I'm like,
Yeah.
what, like at a certain point, why? Like, I'm gonna end up selling them all eventually anyway, right? Because I don't have kids. I'm not gonna have kids. So at some point, I'm gonna sell all of it when I'm done enjoying it. And if I'm done enjoying it now, why am I holding on to it?
Yeah, exactly. Like I realized now it's just basically don't have the room for everything.
Hmm.
I'm always gonna have some portion boxes or totes. It's just the way it is because my collection
Yeah.
is so vast. But it's like I found myself at Target the other day picking up and grabbing something when I was leaving the store just because I was there because I didn't want to walk out with nothing. And I put it back because I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, I've seen this thing like 10 times in the past month. It was a Utrom from Turtles.
Okay.
I was like on it eventually, but I'm like, I don't need it right now. And I was like, I don't have to grab this right now. Like, what am I doing just because
Mm.
I'm at a store? So that's new for me. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that anymore.
It's even I found I'm even the same way when I go to like a comic shop. I'm like, oh, what can I get? I'm like, I don't really need anything anymore. Like unless there's something I want to read, I'm
Yeah,
I'm not in any rush to collect anything. I don't want to start anything new because
yeah,
otherwise I just end up with like another collection that I'm going to end up selling down the road anyway. So like, why why bother? Like, why not? Like, I've got so much trade credit at my shop right now. Like, I don't think I've actually paid for anything with cash in quite some time because I traded a bunch of stuff in. I'm like, I could trade more in and then just use it to get more stuff there eventually. But like, I don't need anything anymore, so I'm kind of in a holding pattern of I've got more stuff to trade and get rid of. But like, maybe I know there's a guy that pays cash. I'm like, maybe I just take the hit, sell it to him, say, hey, I don't want this stuff anymore. What will you give me for it?
yeah. I mean, sometimes you take the hit, and depending on
Yeah.
where it is, time you might like. When I sell like every 2 weeks. something. I usually make out really good. I go to this one guy who is always
It,
fair. He's a collector.
yeah. See, we don't
Yeah.
have anywhere that will take loose toys. There is a pawn shop basically that has a collectible section, but they've said like loose toys for them just don't sell.
Right.
So
Now
they,
it makes
they they don't tend they used to take a bunch, but the last time I took some in, they're like, yeah, they just don't go for us. So I went in again a couple of months, like a month after I had sold just some stuff, and anything that I sold them in a box was
sold.
sold, except for a couple things that I got. Like I ended up getting the bone breaker wave. Well, those ones were still there. Yes,
Right.
I said, hey, the box is here. It's just missing this thing. I'm like, oh yeah, well we'll take that. Obviously, it won't be full price because I'm like, oh, yeah, no, obviously not because I've taken the builder figure out. Like they're still there, and they're currently trying to sell it for less than they paid me for them.
Wow. So you
So
not exchange.
yeah, so I'm like, not only did I make out well, but like I think my days of taking stuff to them is kind of gone. So the next nearest place is um there's it's over an hour and a half away, and there's a toll bridge in the way that unless you're going for something, well, I'm not going to drive over there just to sell toys because
Right.
while I'll probably make out okay, it might not be a huge amount unless we're like, man, going over for a reason. I'm not going to take stuff over there anymore. So I've just got a box of stuff in the basement that I'm not going to do anything with. And then on top of that, I've also got like a bunch of legends up here that I don't need to do anything. You know what I mean? Like there's just a ton of stuff here that ultimately at this point, like I don't know what I'm going to do with half of it.
I know that's the thing too. Like I started 57 Mezcos
Mm,
at one point, and now I have 19.
yeah.
I went down to 19 because I just couldn't justify 57 figures that cost over $100. Like it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I had them because like every time I met, like it was like the craziest thing for 2 years. Anytime something dropped, it was like a drug. I was like, boom, pre-order, boom,
Mm-hmm.
pre-order, boom, pre-order. And I was in the position that I could because I wasn't living on my own. So I was just able to, rack it up anything I wanted. Now it's a little different. Things are tighter. I still get what I want. Like I got Magneto and Nightwing coming.
But you're
Those are
you're you're only getting what you want as opposed to what you think you want.
like I'm not just like unless the Marvel Legends HasLab is something I truly, truly want so bad, I don't have to back it.
Mm,
The GI Joe, on the other hand, most likely going to back it, whatever the vehicle's going to be to go against the
yeah.
Hispanic. I'm going to back. But Marvel Legends, I can't think of any. Like, I don't think a Giant Man's going to do it for me. I think it would have to be like Fin Fang Foom, a Quinjet, or a Blackbird at this point. Like, I don't know. Anything else, it's like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
really. And a Blackbird, I don't want to pay $1,000 for. So I don't
Yep.
know. But what I am looking to do, and we can close on this, like I'm looking to pivot because of the toy fatigue. I'm looking to pivot back into some video games.
Yeah.
So I am counting down the days till Fight Forever. I cannot fucking for that game so much.
So are you gonna get that on? Do you have a PS4 or do you have a PS5?
No, I have PS5.
Okay, I don't have a PS5 yet, and I'm so right now because in Canada every now and again Shoppers Drug Mart do like a 20 times the points and stuff. I'm waiting for them to have a 20 times the points offer. I'm gonna end up grabbing a PS5 from them. And I
Nice.
said to Mandy, like, I will get one eventually because I really want to play the new Spider-Man game.
Yeah,
So
you won't for that.
right, like I need it for that. So I'm holding off. If I get Fight
Yeah.
Forever on PS4, I know it's like cross-generate. I think it's cross-generational play. Like I think you can play different things, but
Yeah.
I'm but I think it'll upgrade itself too one if you want to pay the upgrade thing. So I'm kind of debating what I want to do there. So while I figure that out, I'm also playing Tears of the Kingdom on Switch.
You
And
have that?
I grabbed his. I've had a Switch for a few years. I grabbed it couple of years, 2-3 years ago now. Probably almost 3 years ago. Like I don't play it often because I usually only ever play it, get a Nintendo console for Nintendo games plus a couple.
Right.
So like I don't play it all the time, and I will almost always play it remote, like not on a big TV, and that ends up like I've noticed. Like yesterday, I played Tears of the Kingdom for about 4 hours on the couch. Like we were watching TV, and I had a headphone in so I could listen, but I was like, my hands are cramping so fucking bad because they don't have a like a natural controller thing to curl your fingers around. So I'm like, man, I really need to play this on the big screen just to enjoy it as well. But like, it is ridiculous amounts of fun.
Oh, I've heard everyone who's played it said it's like one of the best games ever.
Yeah,
I love
it's so you can like I would highly recommend if you don't have a Switch and you haven't played Breath of the Wild, get that, play that,
Yeah.
really enjoy that because it's the same map and you can see the progression from one bit to the next. But there's a mechanic now where you can fuse things together. So my current weapon is a wooden stick broadsword where I've got a wooden stick fused together with a broadsword. So basically, it literally looks like if you have
It's a giant wooden sword.
no, it doesn't actually. So the two things don't become what like they just stick together, but like you can clearly see what they were, which is to me hilarious. So I'm running around with a wooden stick, which is about the same, a little bit smaller than a master sword, maybe, that general size. And then there's a giant sword on the end of it. But because you start off with a wooden stick, which swings like a sword, it's got the same moveset as a much lighter weapon, which to me is hilarious because I'm running around just with an insane amount of reach with a rather shitty weapon.
That's pretty cool.
Like it's some of the weapons that I've got so far. I think I've got one sword fused with the arm of an enemy, like one of those skeleton arms or skeleton enemies that come up at night. I have a sword that is fused with that, so the sword handle, and then there's the arm that just swings off at the end. And then there's another one that I have where I picked up the arm first and fused it with a sword, so the arm is actually holding the sword at the end. So it's like you've got an additional length of sword, and I'm having so much fun just fusing random weapon combinations that I probably shouldn't be doing, or that I would never have expected to do. So
See,
it's
I was considering getting a Switch just for that game because I love Zelda so much and I
mm,
missed Breath of the Wild. I didn't,
I
get that.
I would get it for Breath of the Wild. I got it for Breath of the Wild alone and did not regret my choice.
Yeah.
I've I've since gotten Super Mario Galaxy that I haven't spent nearly as much time with as I should. Fire Emblem games that I adore. Like I love that turn-based strategy. Um, really enjoy the Fire Emblem games for that. The downside with Nintendo games, like Nintendo published games, so like the Mario, Zelda, that kind of stuff, they very rarely go on sale. So if you're going to get them, you may as well just get them when they first come out because yes, they might go down a few bucks here and there, but for the most part, they're not going to reduce.
Right.
Whereas, like a third party game will eventually drop down in price. So
So if Fight Forever wasn't like right around the bend, I would probably pull the trigger on the Switch.
mm,
But because Fight Forever is basically No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000, like those were my all-time favorite games when I
same.
was a kid.
Oh yeah,
I fucking cannot wait. Like the people are like, "Oh, it doesn't have as good graphics as 2K."
I do not care about like as long as the graphics are serviceable. Like
Exactly. And
I care more about the gameplay and having it be smooth and
yeah,
like
same
No
here.
Mercy is still my favorite wrestling game. I love the mechanics. I love everything about it. I love
So,
the way the grapples lock up. Is it slow and methodical? Absolutely. That's what I enjoy about it though.
oh my God, but I cannot wait. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, waiting forever, but I literally can't wait because like
Yeah.
day one, I'm gonna hermit and play that game. Like,
Oh,
I'm not gonna do like, like the career right away. I'm probably just gonna like sample the matches and play the
yeah.
ones. But I can't fucking wait, dude. It looks smooth. It
It's
looks everything that No Mercy was.
Yeah, I can't wait. It irritates me that I can't get FTR right from the beginning, but that's fine. Like when I get the game, I'm gonna get the season pass, which
Well, yeah,
which is another reason I think I might get it on PS4 because I don't know when. Like I don't imagine I'll get a PS5 in the next month. Like
right.
I don't think they'll have that kind of sale on anytime soon. So I might end up getting it on PS4. And then when a PS5 finally comes out, I'll grab Spider-Man, Ragnarok. Like
Exactly.
there's always gonna be stuff around that I want. And it's the fact that for the first time in a long time, PlayStation is now backwards compatible again. Like I can play Red Dead Redemption on PS5, transfer everything over.
Yep.
Bob's my uncle, right? Like I can do that, and I'm perfectly happy to do that once I finally get the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I can't wait because I've been looking for a
Mm-hmm.
game and like literally just sink time into because
Yeah.
I like 2K23. It looks gorgeous. The mechanics are decent, but they're not what I want. Like I
Yeah.
want mercy
I
mechanics.
I
All I
played
want is
2K 22 on the PlayStation Net Plus thing. Like I played it
Mhm.
on that, enjoyed it. It was
Yeah,
good fun. Um, the mechanics are okay. It just wasn't. It was as close as I've gotten to No Mercy in a long time. Like that kind of feel. Um, but I started with a career with a custom wrestler, and it was fine. It was fun. Um, but it definitely wasn't. I think I probably should have sampled some of the matches first before I went into that. But again, that was just a me issue with the way I started things off. So
I think we also forgot that we're on a podcast. I don't know about you, but I kind of forgot. So I just
yeah, I
want.
totally did. So why don't we? Yeah, oh, absolutely. But the thing is that at the end of the day, yeah, it is what it is. So
Yeah,
uh, I'm
you
leaving it
know.
all in. This is one of those things, folks. You at this point, you're probably expecting from us to ramble on randomly,
Yeah.
and obviously we did not keep our 10-minute topic.
No,
Uh,
we'll try. Wait.
but we'll try again. At some point we might get it, we might not. If it works out as a format for Joe and I, let you know, and you enjoy it that way, let us know. Otherwise, we will try it for a bit, and if it doesn't work out for us, then we'll just go back to whatever we do. Um, I mean, I think after 200 odd episodes, so I was trying to work out the other day, like this is a 221st episode that we're recording right now
Wow.
of those two geeks. I don't remember how many episodes we did of Gotham Weekly.
I
I
want to say we did probably like 15, maybe something along.
I thought it was closer to 30. I wonder if I can find it, and just out of curiosity, because I'm wondering if we've hit 250 already, like of episodes that you and I have recorded together, or like
Yeah.
of episodes of the podcast that we had. Because I know there's been a couple episodes where I've we didn't get time to record and yada yada yada, but we must be around 250 at this point, surely, if not a little bit over, um,
That's
which is absolutely insane to me. Um,
absolutely. But no, I didn't. I want to say we did like
I
I
thought I
think
remember, I thought I
more.
remember 30 something, but I mean, we're recording on a laptop. I can look this shit up right now.
You should look it up. No, I don't think that many. I think we maybe hit like 15 under 20. I don't recall us doing, and we weren't as consistent back then. Like
No,
we,
and I think that's what the problem is that we were far from consistent.
yeah,
Um, uh, God,
I heard.
episode 3.5 just popped. I don't know if they showed up on
No,
the
I
show, but
heard it.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I don't know where I can find. Shit, that was 6 years ago, Joe.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
still going strong.
Somehow, yeah, somehow. So, yeah, I'll see if I can find out I'll see if I can. I mean, it's going to be a kid. Oh, here we go. We got
Oh, you found
200 episode. We did 9 episodes apparently. I thought there was
It wasn't that many. I thought
yeah.
a little more than a dozen.
Well, we did 10, I think. Good episode 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was more than that. I wonder if there's got to be more than that. I'm sure. So
I don't know because we were so infrequent back then that sounds about right. Like we would go, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 5 weeks. Like we weren't,
oh,
consistent.
we were terribly inconsistent. Yeah, I'll do some dig. I'll do some digging, and if anyone out there actually knows and wants to save us the energy, please reach out. Um, if not, I think we're gonna abruptly end because
Yeah,
we again we're not even circling the drain. We haven't really gone on tangents. We're just now chatting amongst ourselves as we normally would. So, which I guess is what you come here for anyway. Folks, thank you very much for listening. He was Joe. I was Alex. I almost got that backwards. You can find us. We haven't done this for a while, but it is in the show notes. You can find Joe at First Ronin 4 on Twitter, and I'm at Carcossa, Karcossa. That's also at gmail.com, and you can reach me that way too. We are both somewhat inconsistent with Twitter. We're not going to tell you what the actual show Twitter is because we just flat out don't use it. It was a nice idea. It was a good idea we had at the time, but neither one of us are social media frequent people. So yeah, there it is. On that note, I shall bid you adieu. I'm sure Joe will do the same, and we will be in your ears this time next week.
Adios.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.